Life is a journey full of choices, challenges, and distractions. The difference between success and regret often comes down to whether we stay aligned with our true purpose. Today, let's explore the wisdom that can guide us to always remain on the right path, no matter what life throws our way. Deep within every one of us, there exists a quiet voice, a whisper that calls us toward truth, purpose, and alignment with who we really are. This inner voice has been with you since the beginning of your existence, guiding you, nudging you, and reminding you of the direction that resonates with your soul. It does not shout. It does not compete with the noise of the world. Instead, it speaks gently like a soft current beneath the surface, waiting for you to pause long enough to feel its pull. Yet in today's world, filled with distractions, constant notifications, and endless expectations placed upon us by others, it has become so easy to lose touch with that inner voice. Many people live their entire lives listening to everyone else, the critics, the doubters, the cultural norms, and the so-called authorities, while ignoring the one voice that actually knows what's best for them. When you begin to truly listen to your inner voice, something remarkable happens. Life becomes less of a struggle and more of a flow. Instead of forcing yourself into places where you don't belong, you begin to move naturally toward what feels authentic. The decisions you make may not always make sense to others, but they will make sense to you. And this is the essence of living on the right path, trusting that the wisdom inside you is more reliable than the opinions outside you. Think about the times in your life when you ignored that gut feeling, when you said yes when your heart was screaming no, when you stayed silent when your soul wanted to speak, or when you took the path everyone expected you to take instead of the one you knew was meant for you. Almost always, those were the moments that left you feeling regretful, stuck, or out of alignment. And yet, the opposite is also true. The times you listened to your intuition, even when it was difficult, even when others disagreed, were the times you felt most alive, most free, most connected to your higher self. Listening to your inner voice requires courage. It requires you to step away from the crowd and sometimes even risk disappointing others. The world often tries to drown out your intuition with fear. You're told you're not good enough. You're told it's too late. You're told it's unrealistic. But that inner voice does not operate from fear. It operates from truth. It whispers that you already are enough, that you already have everything you need, and that life will support you when you trust yourself. The real challenge is not whether your inner voice is speaking to you. The challenge is whether you are willing to be still enough to hear it. Stillness is the key. In the silence of your mind and the calm of your heart, you can tune into what your higher self is trying to tell you. This is why so many spiritual teachers emphasize practices like meditation, journaling, prayer, or simply spending time in nature. These practices are not just rituals. They are ways to turn down the noise of the world so that you can turn up the volume of your soul. Imagine your inner voice like a radio signal. If you're constantly tuned into the static of fear, stress, and endless chatter, you will never hear the frequency of guidance that is already there. But when you quiet the static, you begin to pick up the signal, and that signal is precise, clear, and aligned with your deepest truth. Now, many people confuse the voice of fear with the voice of intuition. Fear says, "Don't try, you'll fail." Fear says, "Stay safe, don't take risks, don't step out." Fear says, "You're not worthy." But your inner voice, your intuition, does not belittle you. It doesn't come from anxiety or limitation. Instead, it comes from a place of expansion. It may guide you to take a leap of faith, to walk away from something toxic, to begin a project that feels daunting, or to step into an unknown territory, but always with a sense of possibility, not panic. You will know it is your true inner voice because even when it calls you to do something difficult, it resonates with peace inside you. It may challenge you, but it never condemns you. One of the most profound realizations you can have is that the universe is not outside of you. It is within you. The same intelligence that orchestrates the stars and the galaxies is the same intelligence that flows through you. When you listen to your inner voice, you are not just listening to yourself. You are listening to that universal intelligence expressing itself through you. That is why it feels so right, so natural, so freeing when you follow it. You are aligning yourself with the very flow of life itself. Consider how many people live their entire existence doing what they were told to do instead of what they were called to do. They may check all the boxes. Education, job, status, approval, but inside they feel empty. Why? Because they never stopped long enough to ask, is this what my soul truly desires? Your inner voice will always answer that question if you are willing to ask it. Sometimes it tells you to slow down. Sometimes it tells you to leave. Sometimes it tells you to forgive. Sometimes it tells you to create. And sometimes it tells you to simply be patient and trust the process. But whatever it says, it always points you toward peace, fulfillment, and authenticity. Think of your life as a journey through a dense forest. The world gives you maps, compasses, and countless directions. Some maps are outdated, some compasses are broken, and some directions are based on someone else's journey, not yours. But your inner voice is like an inner guide that knows exactly where you need to go. If you learn to listen to it, you will find your way no matter how lost you may feel. You might stumble, you might get delayed, but you will always return to the right path because your inner guide cannot lie to you. It is the most trustworthy source you have. Sometimes listening to your inner voice will make you feel lonely because not everyone will understand your choices. But loneliness is temporary while regret is permanent. The people who truly matter, the ones who resonate with your spirit, will eventually see the light you are following and support you. More importantly, the more you honor your inner voice, the stronger it becomes. At first, it may feel faint, uncertain, easy to dismiss. But every time you choose to follow it, you reinforce your connection. Soon it will become so strong that you will no longer doubt it, because you will have seen over and over again that it never misleads you. Life is not about living according to everyone else's script. It is about writing your own. And the pen is guided by your inner voice. If you want to always stay on the right path, you must learn to trust that voice above all else. That doesn't mean you ignore wisdom from others, but it means you filter everything through your own truth. People can share their experiences, their lessons, and their guidance, but ultimately, no one can know what is right for you the way you do. Your journey is unique, your soul's calling is unique, and your inner voice knows exactly what that calling is. So pause, breathe, go within, listen carefully. That whisper inside you is not random. It is not just imagination. It is the compass of your life, pointing you toward your highest potential. Follow it with courage, even if it leads you into the unknown. Trust it, even when it goes against the crowd. Honor it, even when it asks you to wait. Because when you listen to your inner voice, you are not just staying on the right path, you are becoming the path itself. And that is where true peace, fulfillment, and greatness are found. Every person is born with an inner compass, a set of values that define who they are and what truly matters in their lives. These values are not imposed by society, nor are they dictated by the fleeting trends of the world. They come from deep within you, from the essence of your being. Staying true to your values means honoring that inner compass even when it's inconvenient, even when it costs you approval, even when the world is pulling you in a different direction. Too often, people trade their values for temporary gain, for the illusion of success, or for the comfort of fitting in. And while it may seem like the easier choice in the moment, straying from your values always comes with a price. That price is the loss of peace, the erosion of self-respect, and the painful feeling of being disconnected from your own soul. When you live in alignment with your values, something powerful happens. You no longer live for appearances, but for authenticity. You no longer feel torn between who you are and who you pretend to be. Instead, you stand firmly rooted, grounded, and unshakable. External circumstances may change, people may come and go, opportunities may appear or disappear, but your foundation remains solid. That is the strength that comes from staying true to your values. It is a strength that cannot be given or taken by others because it comes from within you. Consider for a moment what happens when someone abandons their values in pursuit of success. They may achieve wealth, recognition, or status, but deep inside they feel empty. Why? Because success without integrity is failure in disguise. You cannot betray your deepest truths and expect to live with peace. Life has a way of reminding us, sometimes gently, sometimes painfully, that the cost of abandoning our values is always greater than the reward. On the other hand, when you stay true to your values, even if it seems to delay your success, the fulfillment you feel is real. And eventually, life rewards integrity with opportunities that align perfectly with who you are. Staying true to your values also means defining them clearly for yourself. Too many people live without ever stopping to ask, what do I really stand for? What are the principles I refuse to compromise on? If you do not know your values, you will be easily swayed by the world. You will adopt the opinions of others, follow the crowd, and let your environment dictate your choices. But when you take the time to identify your values, to write them down, to commit to them, you create a foundation that guides every decision you make. Your values become a filter. Before you say yes to an opportunity, before you enter a relationship, before you choose a path, you can ask yourself, does this align with my values? If the answer is no, then no matter how tempting it may seem, you will know it is not for you. Think about the great leaders, visionaries, and change makers throughout history. What made them remarkable was not just their talent or intelligence. It was their unwavering commitment to their values. They faced criticism, rejection, and resistance, but they refused to compromise what they stood for. That's why their legacy endures. People may forget achievements, they may forget titles and positions, but they never forget integrity. Integrity is remembered because it resonates with the deepest part of every human being. When you meet someone who truly lives by their values, you feel it, you trust them, you respect them, you are inspired by them. That is the power of staying true to your values. Now, let's be honest, living by your values is not always easy. Sometimes it will require sacrifice. It may mean walking away from something lucrative because it goes against your principles. It may mean speaking the truth when silence would be easier. It may mean standing alone when everyone else is going the other way. But every time you honor your values, you strengthen your character. You send a message to yourself that says, I am worthy of living in truth. And that message builds confidence, resilience, and self-respect. It is also important to understand that your values are not static. They can evolve as you grow. The values you held as a child may be different from those you hold as an adult. The experiences you go through may refine and deepen your understanding of what matters most. For some, family and love may become central values. For others, creativity, freedom, or contribution may take priority. There is no right or wrong set of values. What matters is that they are yours. They are chosen consciously, not unconsciously adopted. When your values are chosen by you, they become a reflection of your soul, not a reaction to your environment. One of the greatest sources of unhappiness in the world is the gap between people's actions and their values. For example, someone may value honesty but continually find themselves lying to avoid conflict. Someone may value health but consistently neglect their body. Someone may value kindness but allow anger to dominate their actions. The wider the gap between values and behavior, the greater the inner conflict. And inner conflict always manifests as stress, dissatisfaction, and a lack of peace. The solution is simple but not always easy. Close the gap. Align your actions with your values. Live in a way that reflects who you truly are. When your outer life matches your inner truth, peace follows naturally. Another important aspect of staying true to your values is the courage to set boundaries. If you value respect, you cannot allow people to continually disrespect you. If you value growth, you cannot stay in environments that keep you stagnant. If you value love, you cannot tolerate relationships that are toxic and destructive. Boundaries are not walls, they are the expression of your values in action. They are the way you teach others how to treat you, and they are the way you protect your alignment with yourself. At times, staying true to your values will make you misunderstood. People may question your choices. They may criticize or even mock you. But remember, those who judge you are not living your life. You are. Their approval cannot replace your self-approval. When you lay your head down at night, the question that matters most is not, did everyone like me? But did I stay true to myself? If the answer is yes, then you can rest with peace, regardless of what others think. Staying true to your values also brings clarity in moments of confusion. Life will present you with crossroads, choices that seem equally uncertain. But when you know your values, the decision becomes clear. For instance, if you value freedom, you will choose the option that gives you space to grow, even if it feels risky. If you value compassion, you will choose the path that allows you to help others, even if it demands effort. Your values act as a compass, pointing you in the right direction every time. Ultimately, living in alignment with your values is what gives life meaning. Success without values is empty. Achievement without values is hollow. But even the simplest life, lived with integrity, is rich and fulfilling. You could have little in terms of possessions, but if your heart is aligned with your values, you will feel abundant. You will wake up each day with a sense of purpose because you know you are living authentically. And authenticity is the greatest success of all. So ask yourself today, what are the values I hold most dear? Am I living in alignment with them? Where in my life am I compromising? And what would it take to return to truth? The answers may not come instantly, but your soul already knows. And once you begin to honor those answers, everything in your life begins to shift. Relationships become deeper because they are built on honesty. Work becomes more meaningful because it reflects your purpose. Challenges become easier because you know you are not betraying yourself. Life itself becomes lighter because you are no longer carrying the burden of living a lie. To stay true to your values is to stay true to yourself. And when you are true to yourself, you are automatically on the right path. No matter how uncertain the journey, no matter how unpredictable the future, if you walk in alignment with your values, you can trust that you are exactly where you need to be. That is the essence of peace, fulfillment, and inner strength. Stay true, no matter the cost. For in the end, the cost of betraying your values is far greater than the cost of honoring them. Choose truth. Choose integrity. Choose to live in alignment with what matters most. One of the greatest thieves of joy, peace, and fulfillment is the endless habit of comparing yourself to others. From the moment you open your eyes in the morning, the world is ready to show you who is wealthier, who is more attractive, who has achieved more, who is younger, fitter, or more successful. Social media, television, conversations, and even casual interactions seem designed to remind you of what you supposedly lack. The trap of comparison is seductive because it convinces you that by measuring yourself against others, you can determine your own worth. Yet the truth is exactly the opposite. Comparison does not reveal your worth, it hides it. It takes your eyes away from your own journey and places them on paths that were never meant for you. The result is dissatisfaction, envy, insecurity, and a constant feeling that you are not enough. When you compare yourself to others, you are forgetting the most important fact, that you are unique. There never has been, and there never will be, another person exactly like you. Your combination of experiences, talents, perspectives, and inner callings is one of a kind. Life did not create you to be a copy. Life created you to be an original. Yet every time you measure your progress against someone else's, you are acting as if your purpose is to replicate theirs. Imagine a rose trying to compete with a sunflower. The rose might think, I should be taller, I should have bigger petals, I should look like that. Meanwhile, the sunflower might think, I should smell sweeter, I should be smaller, I should be like the rose. Both flowers are missing the point. Each is perfect as it is, designed to bring its own beauty into the world. Your life works the same way. The moment you stop comparing, you begin to appreciate the beauty of your own being. Comparison is also unfair, because what you see in others is never the full picture. You might admire someone's career, but not see the struggles behind it. You might envy someone's wealth, but not notice the emptiness in their relationships. You might compare yourself to someone's physical appearance without realizing the battles they fight within themselves. Social media amplifies this illusion by showing only the highlight reel of people's lives. No one posts their darkest nights, their deepest insecurities, or their silent tears. And yet, when you scroll through, you might find yourself feeling inadequate, thinking you are behind, when in reality you are only comparing your raw reality with someone else's polished image. This is why comparison is such a trap. It makes you compete with illusions instead of truths. The energy you spend comparing yourself to others is energy that could be invested in becoming the best version of yourself. Every minute you waste asking, why don't I have what they have, is a minute you could spend building what is meant for you. Your growth, your peace, and your success will never come from measuring up to someone else. They will come from aligning with your own purpose. The oak tree does not look at the pine tree and say, I should be thinner. The river does not look at the ocean and say, I should be bigger. Each honors its own existence, and in doing so, they both contribute to the harmony of life. In the same way, your role in this world cannot be fulfilled if you are busy trying to live someone else's story. Comparison often leads to jealousy, and jealousy is poison for the soul. It blinds you to your blessings. It keeps you focused on what you lack instead of what you have. The truth is, no matter who you are, there is someone out there who would trade places with you in an instant. There are people who would give anything to have your opportunities, your health, your freedom, your relationships, your talents. But when you compare yourself to others, you dismiss all that you've been given and dishonor the abundance already present in your life. Gratitude is the antidote to comparison. The more you appreciate what you have, the less you need to measure yourself against anyone else. Gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, from lack to fullness, from envy to peace. Another trap of comparison is the illusion of competition. We are conditioned to believe that life is a race and that there are winners and losers. But life is not a race. There is no finish line, no trophy at the end that goes to the person who had the most achievements. Life is a journey, and the only real competition is between who you were yesterday and who you are today. When you compare yourself to your past self, you see progress, you see growth, you see how far you've come. That kind of comparison is healthy because it inspires you to keep moving forward without diminishing anyone else. But when you compare yourself to others, you are measuring against a standard that was never designed for you. The truth is, no one can walk your path for you, and you cannot walk anyone else's. Some people believe that comparison motivates them, that seeing others succeed pushes them to work harder. But there is a difference between inspiration and comparison. Inspiration is when you see someone achieving greatness and it awakens in you the belief that you can also achieve your own greatness in your own way. Comparison, on the other hand, is when you see someone achieving greatness and feel diminished because of it. Inspiration uplifts, comparison drains. Inspiration reminds you of possibilities, comparison reminds you of inadequacies. The question is not, why don't I have what they have? But rather, what does their success awaken in me about what's possible for my own journey? Avoiding the trap of comparison requires a deep trust in the timing of your life. Just because someone else achieved something earlier does not mean you are behind. Your path unfolds at the pace that is perfect for you. Some people bloom in spring, others in autumn. Some people find their calling early, others discover it later in life. There is no right or wrong timeline. The universe is not rushing you. The only one rushing you is your own comparison-driven mind. When you release that pressure and trust your timing, you find peace in the present moment. Another danger of comparison is that it can make you compromise your authenticity. You might try to dress like others, talk like others, work like others, or live like others, just to measure up. But in doing so, you lose yourself. The tragedy of comparison is not only that it makes you unhappy, but that it makes you forget who you are. And when you forget who you are, you lose your power. Your power lies in your uniqueness, in your authenticity, in the gifts only you can bring to the world. By copying someone else, you may achieve imitation success, but you will never experience true fulfillment. The way to avoid the trap of comparison is to shift your focus inward. Instead of asking, how do I measure up to them? Ask, am I living in alignment with my own values, my own vision, my own purpose? Instead of seeking validation outside, seek it within. Celebrate your progress, however small it may seem. Honor your journey, however unconventional it may look. Remember that your worth is not based on external comparisons, but on the simple fact that you exist. You were worthy the day you were born, and nothing anyone else achieves can diminish that worth. There is a profound peace that comes when you stop comparing. You no longer feel rushed. You no longer feel inadequate. You no longer feel like you are missing out. You begin to see others not as competitors, but as fellow travelers, each walking their own unique path. You can admire others without feeling inferior. You can celebrate their successes without feeling jealous. And you can support their growth without feeling threatened. This is freedom. The freedom to be fully yourself without needing to measure against anyone else. Life becomes infinitely lighter when you release the burden of comparison. You stop chasing shadows and begin walking in your own light. You stop trying to fit into molds and begin creating your own. You stop asking, am I as good as them? And start asking, am I being true to me? That shift changes everything. It turns envy into admiration, pressure into patience, and insecurity into confidence. And most importantly, it reconnects you with the joy of simply being who you are. So remind yourself daily, you are not here to compete. You are here to contribute. Your purpose is not to be better than others, but to be the truest expression of yourself. Every time comparison creeps in, bring your focus back to gratitude, authenticity, and trust in your own path. That is how you avoid the trap of comparison and stay aligned with the right path. Because the moment you let go of comparison, you reclaim your peace, your power, and your freedom to live fully as the person you were always meant to be. Life is not a straight road paved only with victories, achievements, and applause. Every person, no matter how successful, no matter how wise, no matter how strong, has faced moments of failure, disappointment, and setback. Yet the difference between those who grow and those who remain stuck is not whether they face setbacks. It is how they respond to them. A setback is not the end of the journey. It is part of the journey. It is not a signal to quit, but a call to learn. To live fully is to recognize that every obstacle carries within it the seeds of wisdom, and every disappointment contains lessons that can shape you into the person you are meant to become. The challenge is not avoiding setbacks, because they will come. The challenge is to transform them into stepping stones instead of stumbling blocks. When you experience a setback, the first instinct is often to feel defeated, to dwell in frustration, or to believe that life is unfair. But if you look closely, setbacks are life's way of redirecting you, refining you, or preparing you for something greater. Think of a time in your life when something didn't go as planned. A job you didn't get, a relationship that ended, an opportunity that slipped through your fingers. In that moment, it may have felt like a failure, like the end of the road. Yet, when you look back now, can you see how it shaped you? Can you see how it pushed you to grow, to discover new strengths, or to find a path that was more aligned with your true purpose? The truth is, most of the wisdom you carry today did not come from your easy days. It came from the challenges you faced and the setbacks you overcame. Setbacks teach humility. They remind you that you are human, that you don't have all the answers, and that life is bigger than your plans. In humility, you learn patience, resilience, and compassion. You begin to see that life is not about control, but about trust. You may not always get what you want, but you often get what you need to grow. That shift in perspective turns every setback into an opportunity for inner development. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? You begin asking, what is this trying to teach me? That single question has the power to transform pain into wisdom. Every great inventor, artist, leader, and visionary has faced setbacks. Thomas Edison famously said that he didn't fail. He simply found thousands of ways that didn't work before discovering the light bulb. Imagine if he had stopped at the first failure. The world would be darker because of it. J.K. Rowling's manuscript was rejected by multiple publishers before Harry Potter became one of the most beloved stories of all time. Imagine if she had taken those rejections as a sign to give up. The lesson is clear. Setbacks are not the end of the story. They are chapters that make the story richer. Without setbacks, there would be no triumphs. Without struggle, there would be no strength. Without rejection, there would be no resilience. When you learn from every setback, you stop fearing them. You begin to see them not as punishments, but as teachers. They reveal to you your weaknesses so you can turn them into strengths. They show you where you need to grow, where you need to shift, and where you need to let go. Setbacks expose illusions and force you to confront truths you might have ignored. They strip away what is not essential and push you closer to your authentic self. This is why so many people, when looking back on their hardest moments, describe them as blessings in disguise. In the moment, it may feel unbearable, but with time, the wisdom reveals itself. Learning from setbacks also builds resilience, and resilience is one of the most valuable qualities you can possess. Life will not spare you from challenges, but it will reward you for your ability to rise after falling. Each time you face a setback and choose to learn from it, you strengthen the muscle of resilience. You become less fragile, less dependent on external circumstances, and more anchored in inner strength. Resilience is not about avoiding pain. It is about trusting your ability to move through it and come out stronger on the other side. The more you practice resilience, the less you fear the unknown, because you know that no matter what happens, you can handle it. Another gift of setbacks is that they teach empathy. When you have experienced failure, loss, or rejection, you understand more deeply what others are going through in their struggles. You become less judgmental, more compassionate, and more capable of offering real support. Your pain becomes a bridge that connects you to others. Instead of isolating you, it unites you with humanity. And in that connection, you find meaning in your struggles because they become not only lessons for yourself, but also sources of strength and encouragement for others. It is also important to understand that setbacks are not signs of weakness. They are signs that you are trying, that you are pushing yourself, that you are daring to move beyond comfort zones. The only people who never face setbacks are the ones who never attempt anything meaningful. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is a part of success. Every great success story includes chapters of failure, rejection, and discouragement. What defines greatness is not the absence of setbacks, but the ability to keep going, to keep learning, and to keep believing in spite of them. Setbacks can also redirect you toward paths you never would have considered. Sometimes what you think is a failure is really life's way of protecting you from something that is not aligned with your true purpose. A closed door is not the end of opportunity. It is an invitation to look for the right door. So often people cling to what they think they want, not realizing that life has something better prepared. But when you let go of disappointment and stay open to the lesson, you discover that setbacks are often setups for breakthroughs. To learn from setbacks, you must also let go of the need for perfection. Many people see setbacks as proof that they are not good enough, that they should not even try. But perfection is an illusion, and progress always comes with mistakes. Think of a child learning to walk. They stumble, they fall, they bruise their knees, but they keep getting up. No one tells them, you failed at walking, so stop trying. Everyone knows that falling is part of learning, yet as adults, we forget this truth. We treat failure as final instead of seeing it as feedback. The truth is every setback is feedback. It is not saying, stop. It is saying, adjust. It is guiding you toward refinement, not retreat. When you choose to learn from setbacks, you also cultivate gratitude. Gratitude for the growth, gratitude for the lessons, gratitude even for the pain that shaped you into who you are today. Gratitude transforms setbacks into gifts. Instead of resenting them, you begin to see them as allies on your journey. And gratitude, in turn, brings peace because you realize that nothing is wasted. Every experience, even the hardest ones, is contributing to your evolution. Learning from setbacks also requires patience. Wisdom is not always revealed immediately. Sometimes you only understand the meaning of a setback years later. But trust that the lesson will come when you are ready. Trust that even if you cannot see the purpose now, life is weaving something meaningful out of your struggles. This trust allows you to keep moving forward with faith instead of despair. Ultimately, setbacks are not here to break you, but to build you. They are not here to define you, but to refine you. They remind you that growth is not found in the comfort of success, but in the challenge of struggle. When you embrace setbacks as teachers, you discover that nothing in life is wasted, nothing is meaningless, and nothing can stop you as long as you are willing to learn, adapt, and rise again. So the next time you face a setback, instead of saying, say, thank you for the lesson. Instead of seeing it as a dead end, see it as a detour. Instead of feeling defeated, feel determined. Because when you learn from every setback, you are not only staying on the right path, you are becoming stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable with each step. That is how setbacks, instead of holding you back, become the very force that propels you forward into the life you were always meant to live. The people, environments, and influences you allow into your life shape the way you think, feel, and act more than you often realize. Human beings are not isolated. We are deeply affected by the energy around us. If you surround yourself with negativity, people who complain constantly, criticize everything, or drag others down, you will feel that heaviness seep into your own heart. But if you choose to surround yourself with positivity, with uplifting voices, supportive friends, encouraging mentors, and environments that inspire growth, you will naturally rise higher. Just as plants need sunlight to grow, your spirit needs positivity to thrive. And the truth is, you always have a choice about what you allow into your inner circle. Positivity is not about denying reality or pretending that everything is perfect. It is about choosing to focus on what uplifts, empowers, and strengthens you instead of what drains, discourages, or diminishes you. When you surround yourself with positive energy, you begin to see possibilities where others see obstacles. You cultivate hope instead of despair, solutions instead of problems, gratitude instead of resentment. And this shift in perspective transforms not only how you feel but also the outcomes you create in your life. Think about the times you have spent around people who radiate positivity. Their presence feels light, their words inspire, and their energy uplifts you. You walk away from them feeling stronger, more hopeful, and more motivated. On the other hand, think of the times you have spent around negativity. Even if nothing in your external circumstances changed, you walked away feeling drained, doubtful, or discouraged. The energy of others is contagious, just as you would not drink poisoned water. You must be mindful not to consume the toxic energy of negativity. The more you protect your spirit from that poison, the freer and stronger you become. Surrounding yourself with positivity begins with the people you choose to keep close. Relationships are powerful because they influence your mindset and behaviors, often in ways you don't consciously notice. If you are constantly around people who belittle dreams, gossip about others, and focus only on limitations, their energy will slowly shape your outlook. You may start doubting yourself, adopting their fears, or shrinking your vision to match theirs. But if you are around people who encourage your growth, celebrate your progress, and remind you of your worth, you will naturally expand. The people you surround yourself with are like mirrors. They reflect back to you either your limitations or your potential. Choosing positivity means choosing people who reflect your highest self back to you. This doesn't mean you cut off everyone who struggles or who has bad days. Positivity is not about perfection, but it does mean being intentional about your inner circle. There are some people who consistently lift you up and some who consistently pull you down. Your well-being depends on learning the difference and making conscious choices about who has access to your energy. You can still show kindness to everyone, but not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. In addition to people, the environments you place yourself in matter. The spaces you live and work can either energize you or deplete you. A cluttered, chaotic environment creates mental clutter. A peaceful, uplifting space creates clarity and calm. Nature itself is a source of positivity. Spending time outdoors, breathing fresh air, feeling the sunlight, or listening to the sound of water can restore your spirit in powerful ways. Just as you wouldn't expect a flower to bloom in a dark room without water or sunlight, you cannot expect your spirit to thrive in an environment that lacks positivity. Surround yourself with spaces that reflect the peace, beauty, and harmony you want inside yourself. The influences you consume daily also shape your mindset. The books you read, the music you listen to, the shows you watch, the feeds you scroll, all of these either feed positivity or negativity. If you constantly consume news that focuses only on fear and division, or entertainment that thrives on cynicism and drama, it will weigh on your spirit. But if you choose to feed your mind with wisdom, inspiration, and knowledge, your thoughts and emotions will shift. The mind is like a garden. It grows whatever seeds you plant. If you plant seeds of positivity through the influences you consume, you will harvest peace, clarity, and strength. Surrounding yourself with positivity also means becoming a source of positivity for others. It is not only about receiving uplifting energy, but also about giving it. When you smile at someone, offer encouragement, or choose kindness over criticism, you create a ripple effect. That ripple returns to you because the energy you put into the world is the energy that comes back. By being intentional about your own words and actions, you ensure that you are not only seeking positivity, but also contributing to it. And the more you embody positivity, the more naturally you attract positive people and experiences into your life. Some people think positivity is not AV, but in truth, it is powerful. It requires strength to remain hopeful in a world that often pushes fear. It requires courage to believe in possibilities when others only see problems. It requires resilience to keep a good attitude in the face of adversity. Positivity is not weakness. It is the deepest expression of inner strength. When you surround yourself with positivity, you are choosing to stand in that strength, no matter what life throws your way. There will always be negative voices around you, critics, doubters, cynics. You cannot control them, but you can control your response. You can choose not to absorb their energy. You can choose to limit your exposure to people who drain you and instead focus on those who inspire you. And when negativity shows up, you can choose to meet it with compassion instead of defensiveness, peace instead of hostility. This doesn't mean you allow negativity to rule your life. It means you remain rooted in positivity so deeply that negativity cannot shake you. Surrounding yourself with positivity also requires discernment. Not every smiling face has positive energy. Some people hide negativity under charm, and some environments look appealing on the surface but drain your soul over time. Discernment means listening to your inner voice, paying attention to how you feel after interactions, and trusting your intuition about what is truly nourishing for your spirit. The more you practice this awareness, the easier it becomes to filter out what doesn't serve you and embrace what does. Remember, positivity is not about denying pain or pretending life is always easy. It is about choosing the mindset, the relationships, the environments, and the influences that help you rise above pain, grow through challenges, and stay aligned with hope. When you surround yourself with positivity, You give yourself the strength to handle negativity without being consumed by it. You create a life that feels lighter, freer, and more joyful because you are no longer weighed down by toxic energy. Think of your life as a garden. If you allow weeds of negativity to grow unchecked, they will choke the flowers of peace, joy, and love. But if you intentionally plant seeds of positivity through the people you connect with, the places you spend time, and the influences you choose, you will cultivate a garden that blooms with beauty and abundance. That garden then becomes not only a blessing for you, but also a place of inspiration for others who enter it. At the end of the day, you always have a choice. You may not control everything that happens to you, but you do control what you allow to surround you. You control what voices you listen to, what environments you step into, and what influences you consume. Choose wisely, choose positivity, choose to place yourself in spaces, relationships, and atmospheres that remind you of your strength, your worth, and your potential. Because when you surround yourself with positivity, you create the conditions for your highest self to flourish. And that is how you stay on the right path, by walking in light, supported by energy that uplifts you, inspires you, and empowers you to keep growing. Every great achievement in the history of humanity began as a vision in someone's mind. Every invention, every movement, every piece of art, every leap forward for society first existed in the unseen world of imagination before it manifested in the physical world. Vision is the seed from which reality grows. Your own life is no different. The dreams that stir in your heart, the images that come alive in your imagination, and the desires that keep resurfacing no matter how often you try to dismiss them are not random. They are signals of what is possible for you, invitations from the universe to step into a greater version of yourself. To keep your vision alive means to nurture those dreams, protect them from doubt, and hold on to them with faith even when the external world gives you no reason to believe. The truth is that every vision will be tested. Life has a way of presenting obstacles, delays, and discouragements to see how deeply committed you are. Many people give up on their vision not because it was impossible, but because they allowed doubt, fear, and discouragement to suffocate. A dream can die not from lack of potential, but from lack of persistence. To keep your vision alive is to recognize that the external world will not always confirm what you know in your heart. There will be times when progress feels slow, when others do not understand, and when setbacks make you question everything. But the ones who fulfill their vision are the ones who hold on even when the evidence is scarce, who keep believing even when results are not immediate, who continue watering the seed even before the sprout breaks through the soil. Vision is not just about seeing the end result. It is about feeling it, living it internally before it exists externally. The more vividly you can imagine it, the more real it becomes to you, and the stronger your faith grows. Athletes use visualization to train their minds before they train their bodies. Artists see the masterpiece before they touch the canvas. Leaders envision the future they want to create before anyone else can see it. This is why visionaries are often misunderstood. While others focus only on present circumstances, visionaries focus on what could be. They look not at what is, but at what is possible. Keeping your vision alive means daring to see beyond current limitations and trusting that what you see within will one day be reflected without. It is important to protect your vision from negative voices. Not everyone will see what you see, and not everyone is meant to. Some people will try to discourage you, telling you your vision is unrealistic, foolish, or impossible. They will measure your dreams by their own limitations, not by your potential. If you allow their doubt to shape your belief, your vision will weaken. But if you hold your vision firmly in your heart, their doubt will have no power. Protecting your vision does not mean arguing with critics. It means refusing to let their words take root in your spirit. Your vision is yours, not theirs. Only you were given that dream, and only you can bring it to life. Keeping your vision alive also requires patience. Dreams do not manifest instantly. Just as a seed takes time to grow into a tree, your vision takes time to unfold. You cannot rush the process. Impatience often leads people to abandon their vision too soon, just before the breakthrough arrives. Trust the timing of your life. Trust that every delay has a purpose, every detour carries a lesson, and every waiting period is strengthening you for what is to come. Vision without patience becomes frustration, but vision with patience becomes destiny. It is also essential to align your daily actions with your vision. A vision that lives only in your mind but is not supported by consistent action remains a fantasy. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings your vision closer to reality. Even when progress feels invisible, your effort is planting seeds that will one day bear fruit. The key is consistency. Small daily actions aligned with your vision create momentum. Just as drops of water carve valleys in stone over time, your steady actions carve the path to your dream. Keeping your vision alive means showing up for it every day, nurturing it with action as much as with belief. Setbacks will come, and with them the temptation to let go of your vision. But remember that a setback does not mean the vision is dead. It simply means the path may need to be adjusted. Every obstacle contains wisdom. Every delay carries hidden blessings, and every challenge prepares you for greater strength. Sometimes the vision you carry requires you to grow into a stronger version of yourself before it can manifest. That is why the journey often feels difficult. The struggle is not to punish you, but to prepare you. Keeping your vision alive means refusing to let temporary struggles make you forget the permanent possibilities that lie ahead. Your vision is also kept alive by surrounding yourself with inspiration. Read the stories of those who dared to dream and succeeded against all odds. Listen to voices that uplift and remind you of what is possible. Spend time with people who encourage your growth and believe in your potential. Inspiration is fuel for your vision. Just as a fire dies without wood, your vision weakens without constant renewal. Feeding your mind and spirit with inspiration keeps the fire burning strong, even when external circumstances try to put it out. Another key to keeping your vision alive is gratitude. When you focus only on how far you have left to go, you may feel discouraged. But when you appreciate how far you have already come, you renew your strength. Gratitude reminds you that progress is happening, even if it is slower than you hoped. It shifts your perspective from lack to abundance, from frustration to faith. Gratitude allows you to enjoy the journey instead of constantly rushing to the destination. And when you enjoy the journey, your vision stays alive not as a burden, but as a source of joy. You must also give yourself permission to dream bigger. Too often, people shrink their vision to fit what feels realistic. But realistic is often just another word for limited. Life does not reward small dreams. It rewards boldness, faith, and imagination. If your vision excites you and scares you at the same time, it is probably the right one. Keep it alive by refusing to settle for less, by stretching your imagination beyond comfort, and by believing that you are capable of more than you have ever achieved. Greatness is not found in safety, but in daring to pursue the vision that calls to your soul. Keeping your vision alive is not only about achieving personal goals, it is about fulfilling your purpose. Your vision is not just for you, it is for the world. It is the way life expresses its creativity through you. When you bring your vision to life, you inspire others to pursue theirs. Your courage becomes their permission, your persistence becomes their encouragement, and your success becomes their proof that dreams are possible. This is why giving up on your vision is not only a loss for you, but also for everyone who would have been touched by it. At times, the weight of holding on to a vision can feel heavy, especially when the results are not yet visible. But remember that the universe always supports what is true and authentic. If your vision is aligned with your deepest self, life will conspire to bring it to fruition in ways you cannot always predict. Your role is to keep the vision alive, to nurture it with faith and action, and to refuse to let circumstances define your belief. The how and when are not always in your control, but the what, the clarity of your vision, always is. So keep dreaming, keep imagining, keep holding on to the vision that calls to you in the quiet moments of your heart. Protect it from doubt, feed it with action, and strengthen it with patience. When others cannot see it, keep believing. When progress feels slow, keep trusting. When obstacles arise, keep learning. Because the vision you carry is not just a possibility, it is a promise of what your life can become if you refuse to let it die. And when you keep your vision alive, you stay aligned with your purpose, your passion, and your potential. That is how you remain on the right path, by walking toward the light of a vision that never fades, no matter how dark the road may seem.